Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chansom. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 9th of March. India-Bangladesh inaugurate friendship bridge to strengthen trade connectivity. Pakistan's denial cannot hide its supports terrorism, says activist. And Afghan Vice President says Antony Blinken's letter will not change stance on peace. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually inaugurated Maitri Setu or Friendship Bridge connecting India's northeastern Tripura state to Bangladesh's Ramgarh town on Tuesday with his counterpart Sheikh Hasina, saying that political boundaries should not become physical barriers for trade. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday inaugurated the Maitri Setu between India and Bangladesh, a bridge built over the Feni River, with Bangladeshi counterpart Sheikh Hasina asserting that political boundaries should not become physical barriers for trade. Prime Minister Modi also inaugurated and laid the foundation stones of multiple infrastructure projects in northeastern Tripura state during the online event. Speaking on the occasion via video conference, Modi said connectivity between the two countries will prove to be very important for the northeast region and for India and Bangladesh trade as well.
सबरूम और रामगढ़ के बीच सेतु से हमारी मैत्री भी मजबूत हुई है और भारत बांग्लादेश की समृद्धि का कनेक्शन भी जुड़ गया.
The Maitri Setu has been built over the Feni River, which flows through the Indian boundary in Tripura and Bangladesh. The 1.9-kilometer long bridge is constructed by India at the cost of about $18 million. Hasina hailed the inauguration of the bridge as a historic moment.
Bangladesh is ready to maximize its locational advantage as connectivity hub between South and Southeast Asia. We believe the cross-border transport system that Bangladesh is developing with India is a step in this regard and will enable us to play an important role in regional trade and commerce.
This comes ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Bangladesh this month to join celebrations in the neighbouring country to mark the 50th anniversary of its freedom in 1971. Death toll mounted to at least 9 on Tuesday in a massive fire that broke out at a multi-story building housing offices of the Indian Railways in Kolkata city on Monday night. 7 people who lost their lives were found in an elevator and 2 more bodies were recovered from another elevator on Tuesday morning. The cause of fire is yet to be ascertained.
Death toll mounted to at least 9 after a fire broke out at Eastern Railway headquarters in India's Kolkata city on Monday night. The fire was reported on the 13th out of 14 floors in the building. 7 people who lost their lives were found in an elevator and 2 more bodies were recovered from another elevator on Tuesday morning. The cause of fire is yet to be ascertained.
2 हमारे रेलवे के ऑफिशियल्स हैं और 4 लोग जो फायर ब्रिगेड के जो कर्मी थे जो फायर फाइटिंग ड्यूटीज़ कर रहे थे और एक जो बताया गया कलकत्ता पुलिस के ऑफिशियल थे. तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये 7 लोग आइडेंटिफाई हैं और कुल शायद 9 बॉडीज़ जो रेस्क्यू टीम्स हैं उन्होंने वहाँ पे लोकेट की हैं.
On Tuesday, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while expressing condolences over the loss of lives due to the fire tragedy in Kolkata, announced an ex gratia of ₹2 lakh each for the next of kin of the deceased. Union Railway Minister Piyush Goyal also took to Twitter to extend his condolences to the victims' family and ordered for a high-level inquiry of railway departments to ascertain the cause of the fire.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has said that government senators are being approached to gain their support for the opposition's candidate in the poll for the Senate chairman. The crucial election is scheduled to be held on March 12.
Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has said that government senators are being approached to gain their support for the opposition's candidate in the upcoming poll for the Senate chairman. PM Khan has vowed to win the chairman's post despite opposition's majority in the upper house. He has expressed confidence that the government candidate for the Senate chairman office, Sadiq Sanjarani, would defeat Pakistan Democratic Movement's joint candidate, former Prime Minister and Senator-elect Yusuf Raza Gilani. Imran Khan's ruling PTI has been seeking disqualification of Yusuf Raza Gilani as Senator-elect for allegedly winning the previous election using money from Islamabad.
Moving on, political activist Shaukat Ali Kashmiri has blamed Pakistan continues to provide shelter to dreaded terrorists and Islamabad's denial cannot hide the truth of its support to terrorism. He accused terror groups have been openly collecting funds in the country and Islamabad is not responding against such activities.
Shaukat Ali Kashmiri, the exiled chairman of UKPNP, United Kashmir People's National Party, has said that Pakistan attempts to play the victim and its denial cannot hide the truth of its role in supporting terrorism. Speaking during a virtual conference recently, the Kashmiri political activist blamed the country continues to be a safe haven for dreaded terrorists who have been collecting funds openly and the state is not responding against these activities.
तो पाकिस्तान में अमूमी तौर पर एक डिनाइल मोड होता है और वो अनफॉर्चुनेट ये है कि हुक्मरान ये समझते हैं कि उन्होंने इनकार किया तो सारी दुनिया उनके इनकार पे बिलीव कर देगी, वेयरएज के जो फैक्ट फाइंडिंग्स इदारे हैं वो अपनी कार्रवाई जारी रखे हुए होते हैं और वो इस तरह की जो कॉस्मेटिक किस्म के जो है वो इक़दामात हैं उनको तस्लीम नहीं करते और यही वजह है कि पाकिस्तान आज भी जो है वो एक्शन टास्क फोर्स है कि उस ग्रे लिस्ट में है.
The global terror funding watchdog Financial Action Task Force had last month retained Pakistan on its grey list till June. It cited serious deficiencies in checking and curbing terror financing, adding that Islamabad failed to act against UN-designated terrorists, including Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar and Lashkar-e-Taiba founder and Mumbai attacks mastermind Hafiz Saeed.
In news from Afghanistan, US Secretary Antony Blinken's letter to Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, in which he seeks to kickstart the stalled peace process, have surprised many and drawn reactions from Afghan politicians. First Vice President Amrullah Saleh, in a sharp reaction, has said the Afghan government will not change its stance on reconciliation efforts.
Reacting to US Secretary of State Antony Blinken's letter to President Ashraf Ghani and Abdullah Abdullah, chairman of the Peace Council, Afghan politicians said, among other things, the letter highlights a stronger role for US Special Envoy Zalmay Khalilzad in the peace process. Blinken in the letter proposed a United Nations-led peace conference in Turkey aimed at forming an inclusive Afghan government with the Taliban and establishing a 3-month reduction in violence that will lead to a ceasefire. Many Afghan politicians believe that the way letter has been sent has reduced President Ghani's political status, but the Afghan Foreign Minister Mohammad Hanif Atmar said such communication is normal. The first Vice President Amrullah Saleh had a direct and harsh reaction to the letter, saying that it will not change the Afghan government's position on the peace process. Saleh warned that there will never be any compromise on Afghanistan's constitution and on the people's right to vote. Politicians from Afghanistan, including President Ghani and Abdullah Abdullah, as well as foreign envoys, are expected to attend a meeting hosted by Moscow within next 10 days to discuss the Afghan peace process. This comes as Khalilzad recently travelled to Pakistan after his visit to Kabul and Doha. Peace negotiations between the Afghan government and the Taliban insurgents in Qatari capital of Doha have largely stalled as US President Joe Biden's administration reviews how to handle the peace process, including troops withdrawal. Blinken in the letter mentioned that Washington had not concluded the review.
An Afghan entrepreneur has been providing job opportunities to several locals in western Herat province through his venture to recycle waste. 40-year-old Ishaq Zai said he started his recycle plant 5 years ago with just 20 workers and he now employs around 300 people.
An Afghan entrepreneur based in Afghanistan's relatively peaceful western Herat province has been providing job opportunities to locals and contributing to poverty alleviation in the war-torn country through his recycling plant. 40-year-old Mohammad Zarif Ishaqzai established the small plant in Herat 5 years ago. It is the first of its kind that produces glass wool, which is largely used in making blankets, pillows and mattresses. The raw materials seen in the plant include plastic bottles, cans and bags. He said that apart from providing raw materials for the industry, recycling used items from garbage buckets and containers also helps to keep the environment clean.
ما این پشمیشه را انشالله تولید میکنیم به تمام ولایت‌های کشور. به هر ولایت ما انشالله این را روان میکنیم. به هر ولایت نمایندگی داریم. این پشمیشه سابق از ایران میآمد. حدوداً اول ما به چیزی کم کار شروع کردیم. آهسته آهسته انشالله پیش بردیم. حالی حدوداً 300 نفر انشالله پیش ما اینجا کار میکنه.
با این شرکت مدت 3 سال میشه کار میکنیم. از کار خود راضی هستیم. 8 ساعت کار میکنیم. حقوق ما هم که از روزی 3.5 افغانی است. از کار خود راضی هستیم. شکر.
Lamenting the protracted war as the main reason for the high rate of unemployment and poverty in Afghanistan, Ishaqzai suggests that providing job opportunities could contribute in stabilizing security situation in the country.
A grand traditional buffalo race festival drew scores of people to India's southern Mangaluru city this past weekend. Over 150 pairs of buffaloes took part in the annual event, which is usually marked by the end of harvest season in the region.
Over 150 pairs of buffaloes participated in Grand Traditional Annual Buffalo Race Festival hosted by southern Indian coastal city of Mangaluru this past weekend. The race, known as Kambala, is usually marked by the end of harvest season in the region. It is popular among rural masses and generally takes place in wet rice fields. The winning pair of buffaloes is rewarded with a cash prize, but traditionally it is a non-competitive sport in which buffaloes run in the field one by one.
It is a matter of prestige more than anything else. It is matter of prestige, it is matter of tradition, it is matter of culture for us. That is why this Kambala is getting this sort of a support.
The rural festival was banned for 3 years after animal rights activists petitioned in court against animal cruelty concerns. The ban was lifted in 2017.
Authorities in India's Jammu and Kashmir hosted a 3-day tourism festival recently to promote tourism in the Kashmir Valley. The festival featured multiple adventure sports and cultural events and displayed Kashmiri arts and handicrafts for the visitors.
The picturesque Kashmir Valley in India marketed its winter and cultural tourism to help the industry recover in the post-COVID-19 world with the tourism festival over the past weekend. A lesser-known village, Dudhpatri in Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory of India, was chosen as the host of the 3-day event to promote offbeat destinations for tourists apart from popular destinations like Gulmarg, Pahalgam and Srinagar. The event showcased Kashmiri dance and music programs, local art and craft, skiing and snow-clad picturesque mountains.
डेस्टिनेशंस में गुलमर्ग हो, पहलगाम हो, सोनमर्ग हो, काफ़ी अच्छा रश रहा. लेकिन जैसे जहाँ इस वक्त हम लोग हैं दुधपात्री में, मुझे लगता है दिस इज़ द अमेजिंग प्लेस. बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त जगह है जहाँ गुलमर्ग की तरह, पहलगाम की तरह, सोनमर्ग की तरह खूबसूरत वादियाँ हैं, पहाड़ है, नदी नाले हैं और इस वक्त भी देखिए बर्फ़ की चादर चारों तरफ है. तो ये एक ऐसी डेस्टिनेशन है जो अभी तक उस तरीके से जो है इसकी पब्लिसिटी नहीं हुई है.
Tourism in Jammu and Kashmir is one of the main sources of income for the Union Territory. However, after tensions escalated in the valley, after the removal of its statehood and subsequent lockdown to prevent violence, followed by COVID-19 lockdown, the tourism industry was worse hit.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/IsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @IsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.